One of the things that we want to do with the alpha and beta tests is to ensure that no one role is a massive generator of cash. What I don't want as a game like this is being forced to forever asteroid mine or whatever it is, if there is one way of gaining a lot of money. I mean, it's one of the standard things for games is to essentially encourage the enjoyment.
Oh, I see. Well, let's go asteroid mine forever then. You've probably heard that mining is king when it comes to making credits in Elite Dangerous for the last year or so. And you know, it's true. As much as developers seem to have gone back on that line, now if you don't do mining, you are, well, kinda wasting your time if you want to just make money, or ships, or anything as a matter of fact. Now, of course, if you're doing things for fun, well, that's a whole different story, I guess. But let's not bog down with who wants money or who doesn't. I'll then quickly try to go over the builds for ships and the ways the mining is done. And I also will add some time code so you can skip around. But before you do that, do toss a subscribe and all that good stuff. Well, anyways, let's then begin. Let's then start with the ship. Well, what's the best one, you may ask? Well, that definitely is the Cutter, followed closely by Type 9, and then followed by the Python. You see, mining only needs one thing: as much cargo space as you can muster, and all three ships have the largest ones. The Cutter is undoubtedly the largest capacity ship, but it needs a rank. Type 9 has 4 tons less, but doesn't need a rank, and Python is the biggest one with the medium size, whenever you go to sell in the medium launchpad stations. But when it comes to every single person watching right now, what's the best ship for exactly you? Again, just go with the biggest capacity. That's simple. Bring your Mach-Chungus Type 6 or whatever. Even a Dildozer will do. As for the setup, well, build-wise it will depend on you, what you prefer and so on and so forth. However, no matter what mining you do, you will need at least these 5 things in every build: the refinery, cargo space, collector limpets, limpets themselves, and the detailed surface scanner. On the screen right now you can see the each mining type guideline build. For classic mining, you will need a prospector limpet, which gives you twice the amount of chunks in one asteroid as normal, once you use it of course. While for the subsurface and deep core explosions, it reveals where the fissures are located. As for abrasion blaster, well, it doesn't need a prospector limpet technically. The pulse wave scanner, on the other hand, is really useful, well, when it actually gets fixed, after developers broke it. But regardless, it's useful for the deep core and subsurface mineable rocks. Frankly, otherwise, I really would not use it, as I personally don't like the look of it, and it really won't help for the abrasion blaster or the classic mining, so But when it comes to deep core and subsurface mining, well, it's gonna help you, sure, and yeah, there's gonna be a need to learn the shapes of those rocks that have them, of course, so yeah, get memorizing. After that, we got the mining tools, the mining laser being the one for the classic laser mining. Abrasion blaster is for the surface chunks and exploded rock surface chunks. The subsurface missile is, well, self-explanatory. And the seismic charge makes me go stiff in my pants as I crack the nut. Crack the rock into the deep core mining, yes. Though, warning, this tool requires medium hardpoint, so ships like Type 6, Type 7, and a few other ones will not be able to use these. So make sure you have the right ship. Additionally, it's recommended that you take the detailed surface scanner with you, as without it, even if you have scanned the place before, you won't be able to see the hotspots anymore. Although, if your favorite place to do mining in is in middle of a point of interest like a Haz-Res zone or something, you can skip this technically. And refinery, of course, is required everywhere in order to actually make your mineable things into commodities. As for the collector limpets and cargo space, basically you should pick items in your ship in this order. Even before starting, best FSD is always a good choice. After that, the first thing you should pick is the mining tool, that is the hardpoint stuff. After that, the second thing is the utilities, basically pulse wave, yes or no. Number 3 is detailed surface scanner on the smallest cargo slot you got. Number 4 is the Prospector Limpet, which should go on the next smallest internal size. Number 5 would be the Refinery, that should go on the next best fitting internal size. Remember, going even size 4 is not that bad of an idea. Number 6 is the Collector Limpets, that should go on about half of the leftover slots in the ascending order. And finally, the Cargo Racks on the highest tier slots. And whatever's left over. After that, everything else is up to you. Though keep in mind that since Collector Limpet sizes are in odd size numbers, skipping the even size slots is a smart choice. Also note number 2, you can add or remove any Collector Limpets to fit your mining style. And that pretty much sums up building your ship. Next up, where to find the mining spots. Now let's say you don't know where the community's best spots are and you just want to find your own. So let's say our solar system for example. That's your home. Now you just want to find a place where to mine. Oh look! Uranus has a ring. Well then let's approach Uranus and prep to exploit it for all its might. Once you're close enough, just go into detailed surface scanner mode and shoot your probe up Uranus's rings. Let's call this the rim job. Once you have probed it for all the goodies, the hotspots should appear bright and red. Now feel free to slam your face into those hotspots for increased chance of a specific material that it is listed for. Also, yes, there are overlapping hotspots, but after some changes, you will find decreasing but still better chances to find materials in those types of hotspots of the same type. So clearly, the best ones are the most overlapping ones. And community, well, they have found a few places. I'll list them later. But now that the rim job is complete, let's dispense with the foreplay and go right in the mining. Starting with the classic mining. Simply put, this is laser mining. You shoot a rock, it has a certain amount of materials in it, and once it's depleted, that's it. And here's the fun part, every person has 100% of the rock's materials available to mine. So, if you're running with a wingmate, a friend or whatnot else, or not even a wingmate, if one of you finds a good content rock, you can both mine 100% of it, each. So the more the merrier, as you can see. Now then, to start the classical mining, just start shooting your Prospector Limpets all over the place and target them, then see what the rock contents are, and if the contents please thy highness, start smacking it with lasers, like it's going out of style. And then, Prospector will of course also notify you when the rock is depleted. After things are extracted, or during it, start dispensing your Collector Limpets so they start collecting. And that's basically all there is to the classical mining. Of course, do remember to ignore, well, useless stuff that you don't want to mine. Yes, you can do that on the panel on your left. And of course, make sure that your refinery is not clogged up with nonsense. But that's literally all you need to do. Oh, and don't forget the fucking limpets, okay? Oh, and also, picking up a decent power distributor as well could be a really useful thing to do, as this is the only mining type that actually needs it. And actually, speaking of that, we need efficient engineering on mining lasers. I mean, come on, developers! Next then up is the subsurface mining. For this you will of course need that missile, Prospector Limpet, and a pulse wave scanner. Now, just like with the classical mining, just approach a rock, shoot your skeet in its face, and if it looks pretty, start pleasuring it. I mean, Prospector Limpet will reveal all subsurface fissures if the rock has them. Now, in order not to waste your time shooting your skeet everywhere, making the asteroid ring look like a teenager's bedroom, the pulse wave scanner will help a lot. Now, I won't go into detail as to how the rock looks and whatnot else that have fissures, cause that would be incredibly boring. So just shoot your pulse wave scanner, look for glowing rocks, and shoot Prospector Limpets. If it has subsurface fissures, commit it to memory, and repeat. As for extracting the good stuff from it, well, it's simple. Shoot the missile and don't let go until you have reached the G-spot. I mean clitoris, I mean the fucking blue thing, and if done right, it will squirt out some good stuff. After that, just repeat the same action until the hole is no more and there's a gaping canyon instead. Then, of course, use the collectors to collect it, and that's it. As for the deep core mining, the personally funnest but hardest type of mining, this one's frankly rather simple and very similar to subsurface, but easier in the mining part. So, you start out with the pulse wave scanner again, and I just won't describe the rock shapes, because I'm not willing to make this video into the most boring thing ever, i.e. developer streams. So just look for bright rocks, then prospector limpet them, and if it has the thing to explode, you know, the fissures, commit it to memory, that's simple. And I mean proper fissures, not the subsurface ones. After you've committed the shape to the memory, reflect on what the hell are you doing with your life. And once the existential crisis is over, commence mining. Though remember that these explodable rocks are rather rare, and not finding one in about a half an hour is still okay. I've heard that some people say that night vision helps you see the rocks, but I tell ya, those people are just weird. I have no idea what they're talking about. I don't use it and I hate it. And I still find my rocks, and possibly even faster than them. Anyways, as to what to do when the mother lode is found. Using your seismic missile by charging it before you shoot it, it will set its explosive capability. So first few shots at full strength will not go over the border, but after that be careful not to overstep the line or risk losing materials. However, if you do step over, don't worry, just terminate the missile, ruin the hole, then just use another missile and another hole. Simple, right? After you got it right, either manually detonate it or just wait out the timer and then... God damn, I love the sound design in Elite. Since there are materials floating in space, well, what do you think you need to do? And of course, you notice there are a few chunks still attached to the rock. So let's move on to the next phase of mining. For surface chunk mining thing, you need Abrasion Blaster, and that's it. No Prospector or Pulse Wave Scanner, though Prospector will help you target the things and Pulse Wave Scanner find them. Though, this is the only mining type where the night vision actually does make the surface chunks stand out, unlike the deep core ones. After you find the surface chunks to break off, or you just exploded the rock where inside there are some more chunks to break, well, time is nigh to use the Abrasion Blaster. Simply just target the chunk and shoot it. That's it. That's all you need to do. That's literally all you need to do. After that, deploy the limpets and collect them. You're done after that. And frankly speaking, this is more of an additional gameplay to the deep core mining than its own. So I would not recommend going for solo Abrasion Blaster mining left and right. It's not very profitable. And as promised, I would list some nice places to do mining in. You see, people have scoured the bubble and found a few nice places, but if you do need the most up-to-date help, I would certainly go and look into Elite Miners subreddit. There are some really nice folks out there. However, if you just need a place to mine, well, there are wonderful tools online that I will list in the description. Basically, the tool that I'm showing right now has all the information on the, at least currently found, triple diamond or double painite and more spots. Remember that these places will change if developers introduce another mineable commodity and will reset all the hotspots. So again, in the future, just make sure to check that place rather than look at the video's listed things. Okay, you're done mining, but where to sell your load? Well, you can trust the in-game tools, right? Well, sure you can, if you want to get ripped off and be confused. So yeah, don't use the in-game tools. They are the proper levels of tire, fire, dumpster, baby, trash, fire, and it harms puppies. So instead of that, use the community tools. I personally am more partial for the Inara.cz when I need to sell my stuff, but Elite Database also has your back. Just remember that your ship size has a specific landing pad, and of course, that prices may and in fact will change. And you know, a smart miner is one that needs to do less, so to ease up on your headache, find a place to sell first. Then if you're not bothered by maxing everything out, just go to the nearest double or even just a single hotspot and mine your chosen rocks. At the time of making, low temperature diamonds got nerfed and the painite is now king, but who knows what the future will show. Here's an additional bonus tip. Every time you spawn into a ring, be that by logging in or dropping into it, there will be NPCs spawning next to you and around you. Now, in order to not deal with them, like the pirates and whatnot else, just go in any of the directions for a minute or so, basically just to not see them on your radar. After that, NPCs will never spawn again and you don't need to deal with any of them. Yep, that means you don't need shields or weapons or anything to protect yourself, just max out the profits. And with that, that's the mining guide for all your needs. So once again, if this helped you out, why not subscribe and all that stuff? Why not share the video, and if you really liked it, well, maybe check out the Patreon link down below or become a YouTube member for that extra little support for the channel. And with that, that will be it for today. Enough probing Uranus for Yamix, I got my rocks off and now I can rest in peace.